Hello, race fans, and welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway for tonight's running in the BNR Cup Series. I'm joined here with my co-host, Will Roberts. Will, how we doing tonight?
Doing pretty good, Chris. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Excited to be out here at Charlotte.
Yes, Charlotte this Saturday evening. It's a pretty good mile-and-a-half track that we know of. You know, if everybody's normally familiar with Charlotte, we know Charlotte Motor Speedway. So,
Yes, the cars have finished qualifying, getting gridded up now. How many laps are we running here tonight, Will?
I believe it's 130, 134. One of the two. I know it's only a
135, right there.
200.
Guess I could have pulled
Okay,
that up.
135. Yes, indeed. Charlotte Motor Speedway initially opened in 1960. First race held in 1960. I believe Fireball Roberts won that event.
All right, car's taking off
Richard
now.
Petty, if I'm not mistaken, has the most wins here. Chris, you have the grid.
Yes, sir. Time to take you through the field. Starting off on the pole is going to be Justin Steves with Chris Cornett on his outside. Row number 2 is going to have Caleb Sellner and Matthew Hunsaker. Row number 3, Austin Moore and John Tiller. Row number 4 is going to have Caleb Shelton and Brian Huntley. Row number 5, Richard Johns and Nathan Line. Row number 6 is going to have Aaron Bradford and Pete Woodrum. Row number 7 will have Jason Pearson and Tyler Myers. Row number 8 will be Clint Hayfield and Chris Campbell. And bringing up the rear of the field is going to be Brandon Moore. It's going to be the starting lineup tonight, Will.
Kind of shocked that Brandon Moore chose. He normally doesn't qualify. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Tonight he obviously chose not to, Chris. So.
Yeah, Charlotte's, we know this is a bit of a rough track, and it's, I could be wrong. Hopefully we'll see some good green flag runs, but I feel like it might be a rough start. Drivers getting used to it. However, I did see a lot of them running practice laps right before we went on the air, so we'll have to see as the green flag's just about to come out, Will.
Yes, indeed. A race event scheduled tonight for basically an evening event late in the afternoon to go into the night. So those track conditions will change, Chris, as the drop the green flag is waved.
Chris Cornett going to take him down in turn number 1. Side by side behind him is Hunsaker and Steves. Now Hunsaker is taking the second position. Oh, excuse me. Yeah.
Yes, Cornett leading them off of turn 4. Hunsaker follows Justin Steves in third. So 3-car breakaway just about, and they are just jockeying for position for the top 5. There you see it, the remaining 2 spots. Caleb Sellner, Justin Steves gets a bit tight on corner exit. That's going to bring John Tiller, Caleb Sellner right up to the back of Justin. 3 wide contacts being made here. Narrowest mile and a half on the circuit, on the schedule, indeed. It really funnels up, evens up into turns 3 and 4. You really have to back up that corner entry. You cannot just mat it down like you can in 1 and 2. Most of the drivers are able to just, if they can get their perfect line into 1 and 2, they don't even have to burp it. But you're starting that corner entry so far back, almost right as you would make that turn in to set the corner. estimated mileage here tonight with the percentage of fuel that these BNR car drivers race with is 40 to 44, maybe 45 laps if we have anybody trying to save that extra lap, Chris.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to see some fuel strategy, pit strategy coming into play here tonight. Driver's going to have to figure out how to conserve tires, or maybe not necessarily conserve, but just not burn them right off right out of the gate, and save some fuel, of course.
It is so easy. I would say Charlotte is one of the easiest mile and a halves to just go and burn your stuff up right off the, like you say, right out the gate. And it is so typical. You can see a lot of drivers just can't seem to either master that longevity of the tires or the long run capability speed that we know everybody has in them. It's just trying to get it down packed to where you don't burn that stuff up, in the first 10, 15 laps of a run. Matthew Hunsaker taking the lead away from Chris Cornett. I like some drivers here this evening having either some type of callback to one of their favorite drivers perhaps, or just having a kind of almost like a throwback paint scheme week this weekend. Not really meaning to, that's just kind of what they picked for this event. Hunsaker in the old Mark Martin Valvoline 6. You got Justin Steves and one of the Jeff Gordon All-Star races, if I'm not mistaken, cars. So that was one of the 600 wins, I think. That's actually William Byron's throwback from last year at Darlington, I think. So
double throwback.
Yeah, all throughout the field. You got some drivers either racing, I believe that's a 20 Home Depot car. The last year that Stewart raced at Joe Gibbs, that was basically the paint scheme. So still racy up at the front, half a tenth, 0.8 of a second separates the top 6. And then Justin Steves right back there kind of leading a gaggle of cars behind him. Caleb Sellner and Caleb Shelton. Don't get the Calebs mixed up here. So
the Calebs are side by side.
One's in the Ant Machine, the other's in the Pepsi Cola car.
Well, at least they're going for the same brand or corporation, I guess.
Pretty much, yes. I don't really hear too much of Amp anymore, though.
I had a stint of drinking that like last year, the year before. I was all about it. And I could take a sip and be like, this tastes like high school.
Right. Austin Moore moving up into the second place. He's slowly reeling in Hunsaker. Just 10 laps in the book so far, Chris.
Yeah, looking off the back bumper of Hunsaker right here. Moore getting that run. Just about
really
put the bumper to him.
Through 1 and 2, yes indeed. So he was just able to hit that middle to high lane in 1 and 2 just a bit better. I think Hunsaker's back in. Might have kicked out ever so slightly on the exit of 2, so 4-car breakaway now, still at the front of the field. Sellner kind of slowly stabilizing or maybe losing a position here or two, so still early goings, early days in this race. We not even halfway through with a fuel run, so 13 laps in, still early going. Chris Cornett and Caleb Shelton battling there for 3rd position. Charlotte can be a bit of a nuisance of a track at times because Like we talked about, you're carrying so much speed out of turn 4. If you can get 3 and 4 jotted down correctly over that tunnel turn, because there's a bit of a bump in 3 and 4, and you can lose a lot of momentum if you hit it wrong, and you're not going to be able to carry that top speed down the quad oval of the front straightaway. So if you can basically just arc your line in turn 1, like we talked about, you probably don't even have to come out the throttle. You can keep in the throttle, then depending on which lane you are choosing to pivot that nose, you're going to come off of turn 2 like we saw a handful of these drivers so far, just with a good enough run all the way down the back straightaway. And there's a bit of almost a deceiving hill where you want to like cut the car down the hill into turn 3 once you have hit that line correctly. So
Aaron Bradford
Austin
just smacked the wall coming off the corner.
Yes, he did. Austin Moore, if something happened to Austin, he's going to lose a position or two, or that must have been, I think we got 2 Mobile 1 paint schemes.
He was up
Either
there.
that or we got 2 Mobile 1 paint schemes.
No, he did lose a spot.
Okay, so my eyes did not deceive me. Something happened, and there was a Hunsaker got jobbled, or not jobbled, but I think coming out of turn number 4, I think Austin smacked the wall. And that, okay, he goes down, he hits the paint,
Oh.
The car's going to be unruly. Oh, wow. What a save. Save of the night so far for the 45 of Austin Moore. But Hunsaker out with a second and a half.
Caution.
Oh, caution is out. Okay, caution came out as we were reviewing what happened to the front of the field. And it looks like the car finally got away from Austin here as the replay goes back to him. I have to see what happens here, Chris.
I think it might have been
This was
Bradford, actually. Yep.
Oh.
It was just behind him.
Well, I think we had 2 accidents in one, because I'm pretty sure Austin's car broke away right as we cut back to Bradford here, back to AB. He's coming off of turn 2, and the car just gets a hospital hop out of turn 2, gets a bad twitch, and he goes cutting that AstroTurf down there, and oh no, say it ain't so, Campbell. Nowhere to go once Bradford's 20 comes back up onto the racing surface.
Man,
now
Brandon.
let's find Austin Moore, because I'm pretty sure we had synchronized spins just at opposite sides of the track, Chris.
I want to see. Okay, Brandon Moore just barely got through here.
Oh yes, he did, barely.
Ooh.
Aaron Bradford, I mean, you're just a passenger. You're just riding on board, and then bam, Christopher Campbell wasn't that lucky. Wasn't as lucky as Brandon Moore to get through this. Orange meets orange there. Bam, just nothing nobody can do. You're just hanging on. You're on for a ride at that point. Is that Jason Pearson right behind Campbell that might have squeezed by that too?
I believe he did squeeze through. Yeah, that car looks clean.
Man, holy moly, that happened. He had front seat for this.
Wow.
Man.
Great job.
I still think we need to go and find Austin Moore, because I think something happened to him right as the caution was occurring, or right as that was happening with AB. I'm pretty sure Austin was having his own moment. Or maybe he was slowing up for the caution and the car started to kick out, or because
right
this
here,
is
Will.
1 and 2 right here, right before the caution is about to come out. His car. Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
okay. The eyes
he did get a little
deceive
loose.
Me. Okay. I thought he might have spun. I thought there might have been opposite incidences on the both sides of the track. You never can tell, Chris. But 20 laps in, or almost at the 20 lap mark, we just had chaos here for a few drivers. Just unfortunate. You almost want to say that's an end to AB's night, because we have no fast repairs here. in either of the BNR Cup Series. So you almost want to say that that car might be a total write-off, but I hope not. At least I don't think we have past repairs.
I don't think so. I feel like I asked Brian that, and he was shocked that I didn't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure they, they don't, so. So they are already doubled up, lined back up for the restart here. Chris gonna get it at 21 laps. We will get the green.
Green flag is back out. Oh, we got another caution, Will.
Looks like it might be a case of cautions breeding cautions at this point in the race, Chris. Something might have went awry with Richard Johns here as the... Oh, Austin. Hey, we do have two Mobil 1 cars. I just don't know who's in the other Mobil 1 car. I was right. I thought I saw another Mobil 1 paint scheme. So coming out of turn 2 here. Oh!
Right into the side of
I guess in a way you could call AMPA motor oil, but yes, just the car gets unruly out of turn 1. There's a bit of a slump or a hump that you could come out of turn 1. The car wants to go to the wall if you're way down there, and I could imagine Caleb's car might have blended in with the wall, so he would have probably just been like Austin might have been like, hey, I'm okay, I can go up there. No, there's a car. And, Brandon got involved in that one.
I thought we were done with it.
Oh, man, down on the flat of the apron, there's bumps, all bumps down on the flat of the apron. And that's why whenever you're coming into the back straightaway for the road course part of the Charlotte Roval, whenever you break into or go down and do the chicane, oh my goodness. Okay, so Hayfield's in the 31 Mobil 1 paint scheme. So Nathan Line, Brandon Moore, Austin Moore, no relation to Austin or Brandon. They are not brothers, cousins, or distant relatives. They are just having the same last name. But Austin gets unruly out of turn number 1. He tries to save it. He hits a bump down on the flat of the bottom of the apron of the track. And the car shoots back up into the racing line on this restart. And...
Well, look at how much this car jumps here. You were talking about the bumps.
Exactly.
That's exactly what threw him right there, is that first bump.
And you're just for a ride at that point. Yeah, you want to lock it down, but as an amateur racing driver, if you want to try to save the car. And Austin, he tried to save the car, but unfortunately he hit that bump like we talked about, we noted, and it just jotted him back up the track. I bet Brandon may be regretting not qualifying.
Yeah, because like we just talked about, no fast repair. Bradford, I believe he's out. Let's see. Hayfield's just on pit road. Line, he got into that as well with nowhere to go, locked it up, and got right into the side of Moore. Let's see. Take a look at some of the big cars that were involved in that. See who's got damage. Actually, maybe they do have fast repairs. Will I don't know. Look, Chris Campbell has the nose back on his car, and he was up in that first rack with nowhere to go. Got slammed into there, or that last one rather.
That's why I was a bit questionable with the, like, do they have fast repairs this week? Like, what's going on? But
let's see, Austin Moore's getting his tires. Nathan Lyon pulling back out on the track. And Brandon Moore with heavy damage there. Looks like he's going to send that car back out on the track with no nose on it. Hayfield and John's coming back down pit road. I'm not sure what these guys are doing. John's, I don't think he even has any damage, neither does Hayfield, so I'm not sure why they keep coming back down pit road multiple times. But
topping off that fuel tank more than likely, Chris.
I was thinking that, but I mean, is that like, are we really playing that tight of a strategy this early in the race?
Some just like to have that full tank. I know if I was in the back of the field, I would like to have that, you know, security of just being able to go maybe a lap or two longer than anybody else. In this case, you know, people back there that keep coming down topping off, they might be able to go 5 laps longer. You never can tell, Chris, with the fuel mileage that some of these drivers are able to get.
Yeah, we're lights off on the pace car. We're about to go back green in just a minute. Pace car is off. Hunsaker and Taylor are going to bring him to the line.
Chris Cornett has some really good short run speed here tonight, Chris. So if this race is just divided over a lot of short runs, you know, Chris Cornett surely has to be one to look out for. Brandon Moore's got his modified back out. I don't think they have fast repairs. Just Campbell must have been just a little bit lucky, maybe not to take too much of a blow of a hard impact. I mean, he hit Bradford so hard. I don't know. I guess iRacing just blessed him. You never can tell, but
yeah, because that car looks super clean now.
It does. Maybe he's like, come on now, shut up, guys. Don't keep talking about me. Maybe I won't get involved in it. But
close quarters for Hunsaker and Taylor.
Indeed, going through 3 and 4. Taylor trying to go around the outside. Outside through 3 and 4 is very doable, very plausible, but you got to have the commitment, the want to, and the determination underneath you, and also the grip underneath you. And make sure that the car below you doesn't walk up the track and kind of like body bump you in any way, shape, or form. So just very hard racing in the first 30 laps of this event. 2 cautions, but you know, they were kind of back to back, so hopefully they can stay away for at least a handful of laps here. You can just see how hard they are racing still, battling for you know, any position that they can. Every point matters. There was some contact, I believe, between Caleb Shelton and Chris Cornett. One of those 2 cars got snuffed into the wall in turn 1, but
I believe Cornette got a little rub on the outside wall.
Yes.
Huntley making his way by now.
Well, we see Pearson. He's trying to get to his patented top 5 position. 6th or 5th is normally where he's running. And that's about where he is at the moment.
I think Hudley just made a bit of wall contact too. He did. He's got some damage on that right side.
I like Pete Woodrum's car. That's a nice, it really flashes out at you. It really grabs your attention. Almost 100 laps to go. Just a few more laps and they will be, so that fuel mileage window has been extended because of our caution laps and caution periods, so we won't see it anytime soon. But if it stays green from this point on, roughly about maybe somewhere between 60 to 68, somewhere in that ballpark, possibly, Chris.
Riding on board with Pete Woodrum looking to back of Brian Huntley.
Brian was able to get a good run on the outside of 1 and 2. That's what helped him complete the pass on Pete.
Now trying to make his way back by Huntley on the low side.
Aaron Bradford finally able, yes indeed, finally able to repair that car, get it back out there. 16 laps down though. He's really hoping and kind of praying for other competitors around him so he could gather up some points, you know, so. But at least he's still back out there giving it an effort. That's what we love to see.
Yeah, it's a long race. Well, 135 laps. We actually just got 100 to go right now, but so many laps, a lot could happen. Other people could wreck out, and he just has to go 16 laps more than they do to advance his position a few.
Exactly.
Tight battle right here.
Up here for the top 5. Yes, this is the entire top 5. Throw a blanket over them, and that's what you got up here. I believe it's the top 6, actually. Hunsaker, Huntley, Brian Huntley moving up into the 2nd position. He's trying to. He's in a fierce battle. Pete won't let him go. John Tiller, Jason Pearson, Tyler Myers. And then you have about a half a second, if not a little bit more, back to Caleb Sellner in the 7th position. He's trying to reel these guys in as they're being extra racy this evening. Brian trying to cut in front of Pete and then go underneath the 6 of Hunsaker. They're almost 3 wide. Brian takes the lead away with a basically a
caution.
double dose of maneuvers there. Caution for the 3rd time of asking, as everybody diving through turn 1, but back here, Justin Steves, we saw Brandon Moore bahaing through the grass.
I think his bumper fell off and then got reattached. Steve's, let me hold on a minute. iRacing being silly. I've seen this happen a few times the last couple weeks. Yeah, there it is. It like fixed itself.
Oh man, Nathan Line. Something happened with Nathan. And Justin, unfortunate innocent bystander in the bumper, like you said, magically reappears itself.
Alright, let's see what brought out this caution well. Oh, it's already going on up here, so it looks like
Oh, Chris Cornette. Something happens a little bit further back.
There you go. It's Line.
Oh, Chris Cornette and Nathan Lyon
Yep.
battling hard here coming out of turn number 4. Nathan's going to hit the bump and shoots him up the track across the nose of Chris Cornett. And any moment now, Justin is coming. Bam, gets sideswiped.
Just
And
barely.
he's along for the ride. Yep.
That was a long drift there, almost saving it. Boom. Nose into the wall hard. Let's go on board with Brandon Moore for this one. He just sends it right through the grass. He's going to avoid all of it. Hitting those jumps and everything. Brian Huntley is going to be the new leader. Going to go get that extra bonus point.
"40 laps in, 3 cautions here tonight at Charlotte so far. You know, Charlotte's a bit of a difficult track. You kind of expect a few cautions every time you kind of put it on the schedule or kind of go to Charlotte. You expect a little bit of bumping and rubbing and chaos to be here because, like we talked about, it's the narrowest mile and a half and normally just provides some great racing overall. So that's what we've seen so far. Lights are still on the pace car, I do believe, so maybe wrangle up Jason Pearson here. Talk to Jason real quick.
Yeah. Let me see. There he is. All right, you got him.
Hey, Jason, got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up?
Well, we've been seeing that exciting racing that you guys have been putting on here tonight. You've almost been caught up in a couple of just wild incidences. Tell us about it so far, Jason.
Yeah, it's been I say risky. There's been some drivers just really pushing it, if you know what I mean. But it's still early in the race. I know that first one there. I'm lucky I made it right through the middle of that. I just knew I was gonna get caught up in it. But I was been worried about my car. I didn't think I had the right gearing, but it seemed like it as the darker it's got and the track temps cool down a little bit, it's like the car has really come in. I'm saying it's damn near perfect right now.
And you guys had about a 5-car breakaway before that past caution, before this past caution came out. Do you guys think we just might be seeing periodic cautions? We may not get a fuel stop tonight, or what's your hopes, Jason?
I'll say as exciting as it has been so far. I'll say we'll have a few more cautions here and there, especially as the tires wear out. You see people really fighting to hold on to the cars, really pushing it past the edge, and I'll say that right there brings a lot more cautions along with it. I don't think you'll see too many green flag pit stops tonight.
Well, best of luck to you, Jason. Thanks for talking to us, man.
Thank you, sir.
Had the wrong name up there. That was Jason Pearson we were talking to, not Justin Steves. Lights off on the pace car. They're doubled back up. Huntley gonna bring him to the green flag on this one.
Yeah, doubled back up here. Pete Woodrum on the inside. Huntley has chosen the outside lane here. Tyler Myers in the 8 is on the outside as well with Caleb Sellner. John Tiller. On the bottom, you have Jason Pearson behind Woodrum, Christopher Campbell with Matthew Hunsaker, Caleb Shelton. Green flag back out in the air. They are going into turn 1 again, getting up through the gears.
Sparks coming off the back of Huntley's car.
Yeah, Pete Woodrum gets a real good 3 and 4, able to get that low lane going and just swoop up in front of Brian there off a corner exit. Great bottom work there. As Brian's car is becoming a bit unruly with these heat cycles that he's having on those tires at the moment. Get these tires heated back up and then everything should be good to go for the most part.
Yeah, well, going through heat cycles like these can really make a tire kind of unpredictable, and it's, you know, it seems like it'd be good for the wear, you know, being under caution, but getting them hot and then cooling down and hot and cooling down kind of changes the compound of the rubber, I guess.
It does. It truly does. It really, like you said, kind of upsets the tire. Doesn't know when you're going to fire back off, what to expect, really. It's almost like trying to make food in a little easy bake oven. So you're never going to quite get it like you want.
I like the analogy.
Pearson just having some technical issues, blinking at the moment. 3 wide going on just behind him as Hunsaker just can't quite get by the 13. Bottleneck back here for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Just throw a number, take a number, and follow it. Why don't you? So Justin Steeves, 1 lap down, the only car currently 1 lap down in this event. Huntley and Myers exchanging blows for 2nd place. As Pete Woodrum about 0.4 of a second just in front of them. You can really see the sparks, you know, coming off the back of the 6 as he's bottoming out, going into turn 3. That chassis hitting the bottom of the track.
Looks like mine's got some sparks too. 3 wide again.
One thing about night race. Oh no!
Great
Brian,
save.
don't know how he saved it, but what? Yes, tremendous save. Almost became a pinball for a minute.
Oh boy, Hunsaker. He's the one shooting sparks. It's because of his neck coating issues, blinking in and out. That has got to be scary for Brian, being behind us. Just a spark shower coming from nowhere.
Well, Caleb Shelton going around the outside to take the lead away from Pete Woodrum. Move that 73 up to P1. Lap 50. Pete Woodrum trying to hold on for 2nd place, being attacked by John Tiller and Tyler Myers.
Side by side. Well, they were side by side with Hunsaker and Woodrum. Pearson falling back.
Woodrum having to kind of cut the track just ever so slightly going through the initial quad oval there, so he's having a moment with these tires as well. We're just seeing a handful of drivers just at the moment going through the heat cycle of the tires, and the tires not liking it from the looks of things, so Hunsaker trying not to let Shelton drive away. John Tiller now still up here as well, so about 3 cars again breaking away, trying to break away. Then Tyler Myers, Pete Woodrum, Caleb Selner.
All right,
Here's Nathan Line.
I figured it out well. Nathan Line.
He figured what?
And his teammate. All right, so he's got that stripe with the yellow and red on it, and it's a black base, right? And Tiller is the opposite. He's got the white base on the back of it. Same car. That's why they keep throwing me off. I see Line, and I think it's Tiller. These guys, they're messing with me. They're messing with me. I know they are, because he had a little different car last week. He probably went back and said, "Oh, let's make them the same." And there's the Mobile 1 cars side by side, like you pointed out earlier.
Yeah, Hayville and Austin Moore getting by Jason Pearson, trying to get by Jason Pearson.
Campbell and Selner side by side. Johns and Cornette behind them.
Yeah, Christopher Campbell knocking his way into the top 5. You see that here.
Oh!
Oh, man. As soon as we say something, he literally takes a pivot. So,
great save, though.
Miraculous save. He was, able to just straighten it back up. You see there, he didn't quite panic. A lot of drivers probably would have panicked, and they would have lost it right as they went to gather it up. But you can see coming off of turn 4, it just started to, howl away on him, and it just started to break loose. Down the track, it started to roll even more. So, well, Pete Woodrum with another moment out of turn 4.
Finally, all over the back bumper of Campbell. Huntley in the wall again. He's got his Charlotte stripe. Not that that's a thing, but Hunsaker continuing to lead up front here.
Yeah, Hunsaker's taking the lead away from Shelton, so continuing to lead. Like you said, this is about his second or third time of asking for taking laps led here, so John Tiller trying to get that lead, but currently having to battle for second place at the moment. He is setting in third. Trying to find a way by the Pepsi-Cola machine. Averaging about a 29.8 second lap time at the moment, John Tiller is. So probably in about 8 more laps, give or take, Chris, we could be seeing pit stops occurring if they are able to stay green.
And well, there's a huge gap between 3rd and 4th. Those top 3 have really, as you call, a breakaway. You can't even see him off the back bumper of Shelton.
Oh, you can't. 5 and a
Well,
5
straightaway.
and a quarter seconds back to Tyler Myers, because basically here at Charlotte as one's coming off the straightaway, the other one's coming into it. So Tyler Myers, Caleb Sellner, they can still see each other, but then Richard Johns, oh, yep, Myers having a moment himself. Richard Johns right behind that pair. Finally get to see some separation at the moment. I do believe this is definitely the longest green flag run we've had of the night. Tiller gets by Shelton as we're looking a little bit further back of the field. So Shelton might have had a moment of his own. Hunsaker leading by 0.2 of a second. As there you see the leaders. 65 laps into this race.
Tiller has gotten up into 2nd place.
Yeah, I feel like last season when we came here, Tiller and Shelton were like the guys to beat here. And that was even with being on a setup. But this season on the Saturday night BNR Cup Series side of things, you know, they went to setups or open sets. So Tiller looking down low, trying, and Hunsaker's going to try to squeeze him back down with a bit of side draft. Tight racing coming off of turn number 4.
Hunsaker's going to hold on to the lead. Tiller's going to fall back in behind him, maybe try to set up a run. Hunsaker sends it way down low. Oh my goodness. That could have gotten real ugly real fast as they decided to split Bradford. Bradford caught in the middle, just like, what are you guys doing? Tiller ends up having to go off the track down there a bit. It's going to let Hunsaker open up that lead to 5/10. Chris Campbell and Tyler Myers side by side going down the backstretch. Still side by side, Campbell and Myers.
This is a great battle for 6th position at the moment of asking between Campbell and Myers as the battle for the lead heats up. Tiller applying more pressure all over Hunsaker. Tiller looking low, still can't quite complete the pass, but he's looking still. Hunsaker just with that outside forward momentum. What's going to happen in 1 and 2 here? Just great racing between these two drivers. Lap 71 here. Tiller's going to try to slide it up in front of Hunsaker there. Finally going to complete the pass on the 6 car. So the front 2 have a 2-second lead. Oh, and a caution is out.
Campbell.
Right around the time we were probably going to, for certainly, be seeing green flags, cycle pit stops, and Campbell
Oh,
either did he just come out the pits or
he
did he
did.
spin down there?
He come out the pits. I don't know why they threw a caution for that, though. He's down on the apron. He hit the bumps and that threw him. These cars are so stiff.
Yes, and coming up to speed, and there are on the apron there. Coming out of pit road, it's very, very bumpy, and you got to be careful. Not saying that Campbell wasn't careful, but just cold tires, very, very bumpy.
It's going to bring out caution number 4 here tonight at Charlotte. So we've got the leaders hitting down pit road now.
Next week, these guys travel out to Las Vegas for that mile and a half out there.
Yeah,
So,
actually,
back-to-back weeks of mile and a half.
I'm actually a fan of the cookie cutter tracks. Well, the Vegas, Kansas, and Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually like those ones. There's multiple lines to run, and passing people on the outside. I like those tracks, and they're tough too. Off of turn 4, I remember one of the promos for it was either Kentucky or Kansas years ago, and the NASCAR drivers are describing that track, and I remember Martin Truex said that's the stuff of nightmares. Turn 4 at Kentucky, Kansas, whichever.
Yeah, Kentucky was an odd turn 3 and 4, just about how you had to, after they did the reconfiguration, how you had to back up the corners so much. Very flowing, fun mile and a half. I think all the mile and a half cookie cutters are pretty fun. Yes, indeed. Do agree. So 75 laps in the books, working the 4th caution of the evening. They just kind of had a pit stop here because they were about to start a green flag cycle of stops, but a caution came out. So Tiller, Hunsaker, Shelton, that's the top 3. Sellner, Hayville, and Myers, that's the top 6. Austin Moore, Richard Johns, Nathan Lyon, and it looks like Brandon Moore is in the top 10. Oh, you're right. Uh-oh, for sure. What happened to Richard? Oh, man, the same thing that happened to Christopher Campbell. Yes, you're right. So going to get the restart here with lap 76 on the restart. Jason Pearson one lap down, only car 1 lap down. Not sure why Jason's 1 lap down, but pace car peels off. They're coming back to the restart zone.
Great jump for Tiller.
Fantastic launch by Tiller, yes.
Shelton gonna make that bottom line work. Getting by Hunsaker. Looks like Moore got a nose put back on that car.
And finally got enough time to repair the car a wee bit better this time. They finally found that front fascia that they were missing, yes.
Do NASCAR teams still have crash carts?
You know, that's a good question. Probably it's not as big as they used to. Because
like
you
a
know,
whole car on it.
Yeah. But because of the repairs and restrictions and stuff, the damaged vehicle policy.
Stupid DVP.
English.
Didn't we talk about this last week? I hate it.
Either last week, the week before, something like that. So, yeah, it's a in a way, I can see why they put it in place or mandate it, but Caleb Shelton up here now taking the lead away from John Tiller. John Tiller.
Gonna hold the low side. Shelton gonna hold him coming off of turn number 4.
I was going to say trying to fight back, look at the bottom, but unfortunately just didn't have that momentum. Shelton just able to really keep his car in place, almost kind of straddling the bottom lane, but keeping it in the middle. Just dumping enough of that dirty air on Tiller's car to maybe make it enough unruly to where he's staying within that reason or giving him that gap that he needs. Battles all throughout this field.
Tiller taking the lead back. Shelton not quite done yet. Oh! Shelton looked like he had to lift just a tad not to get into the wall, get sandwiched between Tiller and the wall. Shelton with a big run coming off the corner. He's going to dip it low, going down the backstretch and into turn number 3. Tiller's going to stay on the high side, side by side, going through, coming off of turn number 4. Still neck and neck at the line. Tiller with the lead that time by.
Outside lane's pretty much the place where you want to be, so whoever really can get a good enough momentum around the outside, that's where you're going to have the progress, I do believe. So
Huntley got a battle with Cornette going on right here.
yeah, Cornette and Pete Woodrum, so Huntley trying to follow Pearson. As Shelton and Tiller, they're still exchanging blows for the lead with Myers, Hunsaker, Sellner. They're all behind them.
Myers waiting for one of them to get a little too excited and make a mistake.
Oh, I thought that was Tiller. That's Nathan Line that had the moment and popped up towards the wall. Okay.
See, they're getting you too. Selner and Johns battling for position. It's for the 5th place.
Yeah, just throw a good-sized bed sheet over these cars, and that's pretty much what you got here.
Hunsaker falling out of the top 3 now. Looks like he's about to lose
Pearson's
another position.
the first car 1 lap down. Him and Line are actually kind of having a battle for the first car 1 lap down. But at the moment, Pearson's in control of that. I think Nathan Line he's struggling with some more damage onto his car. But great run for everybody up here at the moment. Just all these fierce battles and the closest battles we've had tonight. Everything that's how the racing's unraveling.
Yeah, this is a great stint we've got going on right here. Back and forth battle for the lead. So Steves and Line just emptied the pit. Huntley moving up. Outside of Hunsaker right now. That's going to put Huntley inside the top 5. Last run he struggled a bit, ended up getting to the wall and falling back. Now he's on his way back up, currently sitting in P5, trying to work on Tyler Myers right in front of him. Got a great run, heading down to the corner. Oh, so did Austin Moore, going right up to his back bumper. Huntley's going to look on the low side now, under Myers. Into turn number 1, they're still side by side. Huntley's going to poke the nose out ahead. Myers says not so fast. He's got that run on the high side. Now heading down the backstretch. Myers going to hold on to it.
Jockeying here, Chris. Almost 3 wide, just about, in turns 3 and 4. But everybody finding their P's and Q's. They don't necessarily want to go 3 wide, but still trying to gain a position or 2, trying to get to the lead. Richard Johns now side by side with Tiller for 2nd place.
Oh, bit of contact as they were just about to push 3
go
wide.
Up into Tiller.
Myers up to 3rd. John's going to lose that spot, and Huntley's going to follow him through.
Yeah, Richard's going to lose about 3 positions here. Working lap 93, almost to 94, 135 this evening, Chris.
Tyler Myers battling his way up to 2nd now. He had 2nd for a moment, but Tiller's fighting hard back on the outside. Sending it that deep in there cost Myers as Huntley is able to get by him now, and Austin Moore right on his back bumper. Oh,
Yeah,
and there he goes.
Oh, huge. Huge impact into the right side retaining wall for Tyler Myers. That car's going to be crabbing a little bit there, Chris. Definitely going to have a tow out.
It's keeping it going. If we can get that thing back to pit road, get it off the track safely so we don't have a caution. Unfortunate Tyler Myers. He was having a great run. He's going to safely get that car back onto pit road. Good job by Tyler Myers for not making that into something that could have been a lot worse. Let's see if we can find the replay here. This may not be it. Here we go. Was there a bit of contact from someone behind? I don't think so. That was just weird how he got so loose. Maybe we call it arrow loose. Let's see.
Indeed.
Yeah, that just whipped out on him. Ooh, Austin Moore gets a piece of that. Scrunches up his nose. Yeah, just gets loose off of 4, slam into the wall. Throw it back live. Tiller is still leading this one, holding off Shelton in second place. We're on lap 99. Going down the backstretch, coming back towards that lap 100 mark here at Charlotte.
Pretty soon will be only 35 laps to go, and expecting one more pit stop here this evening, Chris, as Brian Huntley doing some more Bahaing. Yeah, everybody owes us a pit stop. You can't make it the distance from when we last went back green, so just when do they come down to make that final stop is the question. John Tiller comfortably, for the most part, in the lead. He's got about a 0.4 of a second lead over Caleb Shelton. I would say that's, for the most part, with how close the racing's been tonight, that's comfortable. Matthew Hunsaker in third position. So that rounds out the podium. Brian Huntley, he's trying to stay in the top 5 with Richard Johns.
Yeah, I'd say definitely in comparison to how it's been going on the last, well, good bunch of laps, Tiller is probably feeling a little bit more comfortable now. However, who knows if Shelton either could have burned his stuff up or if he's just said, hold on, I'll just save it for a bit. Pearson, unfortunately, still not on the lead lap. All right, well, what do you say we do a crank it up session?
For sure, Chris. Seems like a good time. Brian Huntley in 4th position. Richard Johns rounds out the top 5. Caleb Sellner, he's 2 seconds behind Johns in 7th place, or 6th place, excuse me. Brandon Moore. Indeed, we do. Brandon Moore, that's Caleb Sellner. Yes, Caleb Sellner. Matthew Hunsaker bringing it down with 25 to go. Brandon Moore with a dry back recovery after, you know, having a nice T-bone steak, I guess you could say. Yeah, John Tiller, Caleb Shelton, Huntley. Tiller, Huntley, Moore pitted there. Yes, like you talked about. So, and Shelton does come in and pit now. So, the commitment line at Charlotte is not where it is in the real world. It's actually a good probably 50 feet behind it. So you can really attack Charlotte, but at the consequence of maybe bottoming out the car from the transition from turn 4 onto the flat. So you got to be careful. Got to be careful. Very careful here. Well, he led earlier, if we remember right, you know, in the early goings of the race. So. Yes. Cornett and Hayfield up here. And then 12.5 seconds back to John Tiller. I bet you Cornett and Hayfield. Indeed, Campbell up in the wall. Well, he was up in the high line. He could have hit one of those bumps up there, really upset the car, and just really flung him in there. I do have to agree, it kind of looked like as if, you know, he had a tire go down, but he was racing so close to that wall. Rich Petty always said, you know, if anything happens, I'm already up here. You know, it's not going to be that hard of a hit as if I was already on that bottom lane, you know, being a bottom feeder. So Richard always really was a highline type of guy for most of the tracks he ever raced at, so that had lots of banking. Yes, indeed. So Huntley, Moore, John, Seller. Teller's really driving down Hayville and Cornett, so. Yep, they just dotted down into the pits. They went as long as they could. They were really hoping for a caution, perhaps. Maybe, you know, set that strategy right. Well, you know, the only really thing, like you talked about earlier, is that white and black baseline and the numbers, truly. So, That's probably what I would do if I had teammates or team cars or owned a team. I wouldn't exactly paint them similar. I would have them slightly different, but they are just slightly enough different, but also slightly similar to just throw, the commentators off at least. So Hunsaker taking the lead away from Tiller. Can he keep the lead away from Tiller is the question here.
Hunsaker look like he's trying to break Tiller's draft. Hunsaker is still having a bit of in and out connection issue. Campbell, I believe he just coming off pit road maybe. Selner trying to put a move on Huntley. And here he goes. He's looking on the low side. Huntley's going to hold strong up top with a good run coming off of the corner.
Yeah, they have about 6.5 seconds, back from Caleb Shelton, who is the last position on the podium. The last spot on the podium is Caleb, so he's pretty comfortable at the moment. Don't have nobody in front of him, and 3 seconds ahead of him is the 2 race leaders, so he's comfortable in that 3rd position.
Brandon Moore.
Back here, Austin. Yep, Brandon and Austin.
Brandon Moore having a pretty good recovery after that incident earlier, losing the nose on his car. I think, did he go a lap down too? Or am I mistaken on that?
No, I don't think Brandon ever went a lap down. He was just able to get, lucky with having the cautions fall around him, to where he was able to repair that car enough to be in the top 10.
Absolutely. Enough repair to be able to dry it up through. Austin Moore having a bit of trouble as Cornette just smacks the wall.
About to hit that 10 lap to go mark, Chris, and we just hit it. Hunsaker takes that stripe, so he's got John Tiller now back all over him. This is going to be the battle for the lead in the final 10 laps to go.
So it looks like everyone is still running. Bradford 17 laps down, Line 16 laps down. We got like 8 cars off the lead lap. But everyone's still running. Good to see. Tiller inching closer to Hunsaker. Hunsaker slides up a bit. That's going to let Tiller poke his nose down low.
Tiller
He's got a good run coming off of the corner.
Going into turn 1 there, side by side. This has been a great battle all race long between these two competitors, Chris. From the drop of the green flag, they've kind of been, you know, there was a handful of competitors racing very tightly, and then it's just kind of came down to these two, if you think about it, here at the closing stages.
Yeah, Shelton back
Pit
here.
stops kind of became the great equalizer. Yep, Shelton back here.
Just kind of hanging on as they continue to battle side by side, switching positions.
Yeah, Hunsaker was still there on the right quarter panel of the 27 coming off of turn 2, getting down the back straightaway, getting around Tyler Myers. Made it 3 wide for a split second. That toe might help Hunsaker just a little bit. But like I said, they still had to pass him, so compromised both at the same time. But they are no longer side by side. Tiller just a couple of car lengths back. 3.5 laps to go. Caleb Shelton has taken a half a second out of the lead, so 2.5, maybe 2, going slightly back up. It's a fluctuating. They are still side by side. John Tiller gets a run back on the 6 going into turn 1. Is he going to have enough to clear him? He's clear now. Can he slide up in front? He will, coming off of turn 2. Does Hunsaker have anything left? 2.5 laps to go. Down the back straightaway into turn 3, Chris. Coming to the penultimate lap of the race. Lap traffic apparently must have not been kind to Matthew Hunsaker's car, as far as not just not getting through the lap traffic.
Tiller takes the lead and takes off, opening it up quickly to 4/10.
Yes, a half a second lead already. Nothing, I don't think, is left in the Hunsaker mobile. As John Tiller is coming out of turn number 4, he will see the white flag waved by Barney coming to the stripe. So one more lap of asking, 1 more mile and a half of asking for everybody here tonight. John Tiller opened up the lead to almost a second now for Matthew Hunsaker once he was able to dispose of Matthew. So half a lap now. John's going into turn 3. Excruciating hard race by all these competitors. Like you said, everybody's racing to the finish. And John Tiller will get the checkered flag here tonight, Chris.
Hunsaker going to bring it home in second. Caleb Shelton's going to round out the top 3. All right, your final results for tonight. John Tiller brings it home in first place with Matthew Hunsaker in second after a great battle for the majority of this race. Caleb Shelton puts it on the podium in third. Brian Huntley brings it up to fourth place. Caleb Sellner in fifth. Brandon Moore sixth. Richard Johns is seventh. Pete Woodrum is eighth. Ninth is Austin Moore. 10th is Chris Cornett. 11th is Jason Pearson. Justin Steves 12th. Chris Campbell in 13th. Clint Hayfield in 14th. Tyler Myers ends up in 15th after a great surge in speed in the middle of this race and just getting into the wall. Nathan Lyon brings it in 17th, and Aaron Bradford is 17th. Nathan Lyon 16th. I misspoke. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick quick break, and we'll have your top finishes after this. And we're back at Charlotte Motor Speedway with your top finishers. We will start off with Caleb Shelton. Caleb Shelton bringing it home in third place tonight. You had a great run for the first place position mid race, and then kind of just settled in third. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, it was a good race. There was a lot of good racing for the lead. I was hoping that those two would get into each other and maybe take each other out, and I could steal one. But nah. Anyway, it was fun. It was good racing, and I'm glad to finish on the podium because it was tough.
What do you got for him, Will?
Yeah, so tell us about the tough race, about the traffic, being in the dirty air, because there was multiple points where you guys were, 5, 6 car pack battling for the lead. Tell us about it.
Yeah, with these cars, you don't want to be right behind the guy in front of you in the corners because it'll just make you push like a dump truck. So you want to try and get as much air on the nose as you can, but when you've got that many cars in front of you, there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do, so you just kind of have to ride it out until it disperses a little bit, and then try to put your car where the cars in front of you aren't.
Exactly, and it can be a challenge for sure. Like playing as they say whenever it comes to the plate racing, is the high speed game of chess, and that analogy works just like what you were saying. Putting your car where you want it to be, but also where the competitor is trying to put his to dump that dirty air onto you. So, you're always playing a game of chance if you're trying to get up behind another car, like you're saying. So, next week, Las Vegas, another mile and a half, a D-shaped mile and a half out there, just outside the strip. What's the idea, the mentality going into Vegas, Caleb?
Well, hopefully I can just put myself in a good position and try to keep the nose clean and be there at the end. That's a track that really is highly aero dependent, so you get any damage, it'll certainly slow your car down.
Yeah, so another aero-dependent mile and a half, like you talked about. Good points finish today for you. That's exactly what you needed after, some not so great races to start off the season. So, any final thoughts or shout-outs you'd like to add, Caleb, before we let you go celebrate the podium?
Just thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast, and thanks to the BNR for putting on these races. It was a lot of fun tonight.
All right, congratulations on the podium, Caleb.
Thank you.
All right, let's bring in our second place finisher, Matthew Hunsaker. Matthew, that was a great battle at the end of this race. Tell us about it and how your night went.
I think my night went pretty good. John saved a little bit more tire than I did. I was pushing the last 2-3 laps. I was pushing. I couldn't hold them off.
Will?
Well, Matthew, you had a great car from the start of the race, and I pretty much feel like you had like a top 3, top 5 car. You finished, I feel like, where you deserved to be finishing. Just unfortunate, like you said, John just saved the little ever so much, but you had a great car all night, like I talked about. Tell us about battling in all the different battles you were in all night. Matthew, what the car was handling like, just experience that.
Like the first 20 laps, I felt like the car was great. Like I could turn down the corner, and then I don't know, like it would just fall off a cliff at lap 25 and just start pushing to the wall. So I should have tried to make an adjustment, but I thought it'd be all right. I thought it was good. And then John just came on driving by.
Next week is the mile and a half D-shaped oval, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What's the kind of mindset or the preparation going into that race, Matthew?
I mean, basically, it's a lot similar to this one. Just try and get a good long run car and save some tire for the end. Should be good to go. I think I'll do well.
All right. Well, any final thoughts, Matthew? Shout outs you'd like to, you'd like to get out there before we let you go celebrate this podium finish?
Just 1-5 Studios for putting on the broadcast. Thanks, guys.
All
Well,
right.
congratulations on the P2, and go get them next week at Vegas, Matt.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's bring in your winner. John Tiller bringing it home in first place tonight after a great battle all the way to the end there. John, tell us about how that went and take us through the final laps.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was just an absolute battle all night with Matthew. That was probably one of the hardest fought wins I've ever had on iRacing, man. We really went at it there. Those last 10 laps or so, I knew when we come off pit road that I was better on the long run than pretty much everybody in the field. And I knew Matthew had really good short run speed, so he was able to short pit on us there a lap, got track position on me. He come by me right after we come off pit road, and I was just like, all right, let's stay in his draft, stay patient. And it worked out, man. I saved more tire than he did and was able to go on by him there out of 4. I mean, he gave me one hell of a battle, though, I tell you that.
Yeah, what was it like all night, John? Just not the battle between Hunsaker, but just everybody. Everybody had to work their way through some type of group or battle or field. Pretty much from the drop of the green flag to the end of the race. You guys were in an intense fight all night long, like you talked about. Describe to us just what it was like.
Yeah, man. I mean, there was a ton of guys that had a lot of speed. You had Richard Johns up there at times. Brian Huntley was up there. Caleb Shelton. They all had a ton of short run speed, man. And a lot of those guys, they could get by me there early. So I had to be patient and ride there and fifth or sixth for a while and just slowly pick them off as the tires wore. But there was a lot of speed in this field tonight, that's for sure.
It was duly documented, duly noted. Everybody, was either having some problems coming out of turn 2, where you feel like you're very similar to Texas. How at Texas, you always feel like you're constantly turning, but that coming out of turn 4 here, you just have that wheel at the right angle, and coming out of that turn, it almost slopes up there, and the cars just want to just unstabilize just at that right moment, John. And we saw a few people become like a Baja truck, but for the most part, only 4 cautions, I believe, here tonight. So it wasn't nothing, major. You guys wasn't pacing all night. Next week, Las Vegas, that D-shaped mile out there in the desert. What's your preparation and thoughts going into a Las Vegas race?
It's another draft-dependent track. I expect it to be pretty much a pack race. You're not going to see the spread out that you've seen tonight. I love Las Vegas, so I feel like we can prevail there again. I'm really good at tire saving there, just like I am here at Charlotte. So I feel like that should be a strong track for us as well. But I do expect a lot of pack racing next week.
Well, since you kind of said stuff like that, I expect it as well. With it being an open setup series this year on Saturday nights, you kind of have that availability to almost, like you said, be a bit of a pack race, and you don't see that separation so quickly. It takes a little bit longer to get that separation, longer in the run with the setups. So you kind of get to see that great racing all throughout the race. It doesn't start to, I don't want to say bore off just a few laps in, but you guys were almost constant, ever present, week to week, just always battling. So any final thoughts, shout outs, anything you'd like to add before we let you go celebrate this win there, John?
Yeah, I've got to shout out my beautiful wife. She gives me the opportunity to do this every week and keeps up with the patience enough to deal with me doing this. Huge shout out to all my teammates over there at Fueled Up Motorsports, man. Brandon didn't really have a chance to show what he had tonight. Him and Nate both kind of got took out early there. But huge shout out to those guys. Huge shout out to all those sponsors, Clark Heaton Air, Admin Box, W Energy, WJM Motorsports, McConey Setup Shop. You know, they come on board with me there 2 seasons ago, and I've been running their setups over in the open side of things. It's worked out for me so far, so huge shout out to that team as well.
Well, big congratulations to you tonight, John, getting, I believe this is your first win of the season so far, of season 5. I believe we're on season 5. All the seasons kind of run together just about sometimes, John, but congratulations nevertheless. So go celebrate this win here tonight.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys up there in the booth too, man. Y'all put on a good show for us every week.
Well, thank you for all the kind words, John, and hopefully we'll get to see you next week at Las Vegas.
That's the plan, buddy.
All right, well, final thoughts from you?
Well, final thoughts. Tonight, Chris, we had an excellent race here tonight from the start to the finish. We had a few hiccups, but, almost to be expected with the tight racing that we were seeing here this evening. Las Vegas is probably going to be the same. Just a little bit wider, Chris, as we know Vegas, just about a lane or two wider than Charlotte. So it's not to say that the racing won't be as close. So you never know what to expect at Vegas, but fantastic race here tonight. And congratulations, to everybody who was able to finish the race, even start the race. Everybody finished. So thank you for everybody coming out, tuning in to the 1-5 Studios broadcast this evening. Me and Chris love to thank you. But next week, Vegas, that's going to be a doozy, I do believe, Chris, because of what everybody's kind of expecting going into it.
Yeah, again, like I said, I like the cookie cutter tracks because there's so many lines that you can run. I'm expecting to see quite a bit of action-packed racing next week. All right, but we'll see you at Vegas next week, Will.
Yes, indeed.
We'd like to thank you for joining us at 1-5 Studios for the BNR Cup Series. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the racing action every Saturday night. The BNR Cup Series. Mondays have the IAA Xfinity Series, and Thursdays the IAA Truck Series. So make sure to subscribe. You don't miss any of the racing actions. We've got plenty of it here. Again, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the next track.